Hello YouTube. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about making your own wavetables. And when you build up a nice collection of these, it gives you a massive speed up in your workflow because you have all of these sounds that have a lot of the characteristics you're interested in baked into the starting wave. And I'm going to go over a few methods for this. So make sure to watch to the end for some good techniques. And with all that being said, let's get into the video. So I've got myself an instance of Serum 2 ready to go. And at the moment, I've just got it on the init patch, drop the saw wave an octave. And the first method that I'd like to show you for creating your own wavetables is to just morph between any custom shape. So if I click this LFO, hold Alt and drag it over the oscillator, it'll give me this shape. And then I go in here and remove all except selected, and just click the little plus to give myself an extra copy of this waveform. And then I can just do any other shape that I like. Let's say something like this, maybe with some rounded shapes on it. And yeah, do the same thing, drag it over. And then on this wavetable position, select this smooth interpolate option, which will fade between our two shapes now. So if I just set up a ramp and set that to envelope mode and a bar, I can just fade through these two shapes. Great, and that's the easiest way that you can make a wavetable. The next way you can make a wavetable is by dragging in a sample. So let's go and find maybe like a nice bass one shot or something like that. And there's lots of different algorithms for the way that it calculates it. So the one that I just used there is the dynamic pitch zero snap. And this gives us a result like this. This sound is definitely much longer. So I'll make the sweeping through the wavetable a bit more extended as well, so we have a better sweep. And when you create wavetables using samples, often there is some cleanup that is necessary. But before I go on to do that, I'll just show you some of the different algorithms. So as you can see, there was a point there where it wasn't going with the pitch follow because there's pitch movement in the sound. So there was a moment where the waveform was drifting back and forth, and that's not exactly what you're after. You've also got this frequency estimation mode, which seems to be struggling with this particular sample. And then you've also got this pitch average as well. But yeah, out of all of these, I still think the pitch zero snap is getting me the best results. To clean up this wavetable now, what we could do is maybe just find a nice range for it. So there's some stuff from the middle that gets quite messy. By holding Shift and clicking, I can then select everything from my first selection. And then I can go remove and remove multi-selection. And I can do that again and find some more messy frequencies. I'll probably go with these ones here. Remove multi-selection. I probably don't need any of these end ones as well. Go to frame 122. Go to the remove thing and then go selected to end. So now what we can do to fade between these a lot nicer, first of all, we can remove the DC offset. So any waves that are skewed away from the zero crossing get realigned, which allows for more headroom when normalizing. And that's what I'll do just now. I'll normalize each gained separately. That way each waveform is normalized to its max amplitude. And then if we want to make sure that the edges have no clicks, we can up the resolution of this grid. I'll go back onto the All tab and I'll X-fade the edges to grid size. And that way we should have a nice smooth fade at the edge of each of these wave cycles. And if I go morph using either the spectral or the crossfade, these get really good results. So now we have a nice smooth warp through this wavetable. Now I'm going to go through the third method of creating wavetables, and this is personally my favorite. It is using internal resampling. So if I just reset this to some basic shapes and then put together an FM type setup, grab myself a sine wave, and I'll bring the random phase down for both of these so we have a nice consistent signal. And then I'll just turn the level down for this second oscillator. Select FM from B, and I'll use a 1 bar ramping up LFO because when Serum resamples internally, it resamples a bar worth of information. Now, if I just have the FM rising, nice. And then maybe if I get this and just have the FM modulator also shifting in shape, I'll just draw in a shape for it to morph to. So one of these SSQ type shapes might be a nice one. So if I just use the smooth interpolate, that way I can nicely move between these, and go back to my bar LFO and just attach that. I would maybe go in the opposite way. And then what I've been really enjoying is using these new distortion modes on the wavetable level. That way I can make more complex FM modulators. That is fantastic. And then I'm going to go backwards on this one. Right, so just to show how this works, I'm going to just use this resample to OSC C feature here. And then if I turn off everything else, if I attach the wavetable position to this and drop it down an octave, we should have the same sound. And again, this can be cleaned up in a similar way that we cleaned up the audio sample wavetable, where you just go in, select a range that you like, clean up the individual cycles, and spectrally morph between them, or you can use the morph crossfade, which will give you similar results. And there's no limit to how complicated you make this. So, for example, let's just go with a bandpass with some resonance, and I'll also add some sine shaper distortion maybe on our first shape and have that going downwards. And then we can add some effects onto this. So I'll just add on some flanging and just pop that down like that and mix it in slightly. And then maybe, again, some more movement with a phaser and just have the frequency maybe going up for this one. And then just turn the mix down. Right, so now we've got a nice bit of contrast in the sound. I'm going to just resample that to C, and let's see what we got if I turn off these effects now. So yeah, once again, I can go in now. I can clean this up by picking out the parts that I think are not particularly important. Maybe something like this, and all these really quiet ones can get removed. Some of these quiet ones in between, don't need these. And then maybe some of these really chaotic ones at the end. So yeah, I'll probably go to about there and then go from there to the end. And now we have far fewer wavetables, so we can just remove the DC offset, normalize each of them, X-fade the edges, and morph. Let's go crossfade this time. So now the wavetable should be a lot fuller. So now we've got a nice sweep through these. There is a point where it suddenly starts becoming much more high frequencied, and that's partially due to our bandpass movement that we added into the wavetable. But some wavetables are designed to be swept through in a fluid fashion, whereas others are meant to be more as just a table of different textures. And I'll demonstrate how this will be used just now. So instead of sweeping through the wavetable position now as a smooth ramp upwards, what you could do is you could just assign it to a sample and hold LFO at a rate of 1/16, and then you can just have a random value every time. And if I turn on the ARP feature and give this a little bit of a volume envelope as well, then we should get a nice randomized rhythm. Let's get some extra notes in here. If I give this a couple of unison voices, make it nice and wide, and then I'll just attach on a nice ping pong delay at a dotted eighth. And that's pretty dreamy. So, you know, as soon as you start putting more warps onto this, then let's get that on the opposite direction for the sample and hold. And then if we go into our ARP, we can close down the gate. So now at this point, we've already got a very interesting sound, and the only thing we've got on here is a delay. You know, all of the interest that's happening is on the waveform level. So essentially, the way that you have to start thinking about it is all of the audio effects that you're adding, all of the ways that you're shaping a sound can all be captured and then used in a wavetable. That way you have all of the information from a processed sound from the get-go, which ultimately, if you think about it, is a hack for a workflow, because all of the effects that you would be adding are already baked in as a characteristic, and you can just get a lot further, a lot faster if you already have a collection of wavetables that have the kind of tonalities that you enjoy. And yeah, so for example, from here, like all I'd have to do is add on a bandpass, and then it'll be just awesome. Or maybe even just like a comb, similar to the sound that we made last week. That'll do it for this video. That's how I go about making my own wavetables. And with all that being said, if you want to support the channel, you know what to do, and I'll catch you on the next one.